Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox One community. As always, I am joined by Mr. McSpicy. Hello, Mr. McSpicy.
Hello, how's it going?
Jort the man.
Hello.
And I am X1. Welcome. This is podcast number 316. Another big week in gaming. Another big week in games. First up, it was EA Play this week. It was a big conference for EA. I mean, a big opportunity for EA.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss all the trailers given. They really didn't show any next-gen stuff. They kind of teased. They showed a Dragon Age like tech demo of like this red flame breathing. That was next-gen. There was another one that they showed.
It really was not a next-gen oriented
No, not at all.
announcement.
They did
more so. Here's our games coming to all our platforms. They did talk about one topic very heavily, though.
What topic?
Crossplay.
Crossplay.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Yeah.
Which, can I get controversial?
Go ahead. Get controversial, baby.
Crossplay is fantastic. I like it. I like the push. I enjoy it. It's wonderful.
Where, are you going to complain about crossplay?
But
Uh-oh.
where's the cross progression? I prefer that much
Oh,
more than I do
yeah,
cross
yeah,
play.
100%.
Agree with that.
I feel, this is just my opinion, and I may be the only one here. I feel cross progression is much more important than cross play. Me personally, I would rather log in on my Xbox and play with Xbox users, and then, oh, hey, I'm at work, log in on my computer. All my saved content is still there. All my progression is still there, and play with computer players, right? I mean, in a perfect world, I'd rather have both. I'd have both, cross play, cross progression, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's just call it cross togetherness. I don't know, but I would prefer cross progression. Like let's take Call of Duty Warzone. They do it both. They do cross progression and cross play. That's the way to do it right there.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. But if I had to pick one, I personally, just me, I would pick cross progression because.
But wait, without crossplay, do you need cross progression?
Well, I mean, look at Overwatch. I've bought in that game 3 times and had to start over 3 times.
It's true.
But
Take
that
Apex.
benefits them.
Yeah, it benefits
Yeah,
them.
but it benefits them, but not us.
Yeah.
It's just basically them flipping us off.
True.
I've played Apex on the PC and on the Xbox, and I have to start. You have to start over. It's just I would like to carry my stuff with me. That's
What
the
game
idea, right?
does it the best, do you think?
I think Realm Royale does a fantastic job. It's on everything. It's cross-play everything. It cross-progression everything. Destiny, I think, does it well. They don't have cross-play. They have cross-progression. You do have to buy like the expansions and stuff per platform, which I'm not against,
That's okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine too. And then whatever currency, I think Realm Royale does this too. If you buy, or Fortnite does it as well, right? Whatever currency you buy, that currency is stuck to that
Stay on
platform,
that platform.
right? Which is fine because you got the stores and stuff. But no, I think the people that do it the best are Fortnite. I think they pioneered it. They did cross.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if they did it first, but they did it the best.
Yeah.
Cross progression and cross play, so they got both. And then of course, I think Realm Royale does it well. But yeah, if I had to choose one, I'd prefer cross progression. But obviously, the ultimate goal is I would like to see more Fortnites and Realm Royales and Warzones where it's everything. It's just cross platform.
It's
right?
cross everything.
It's cross everything, right?
Well, I think that's the future, and I think EA was basically saying like this is the future. Everything is going in this direction.
Cross-play.
Yeah, cross-play.
Not cross-progression. They
did start out their conference with what has become their marquee game, and that is Apex Legends. We are getting a Lost Treasures collection event in this season. Season 5 up till now has been fairly static as far as events. They have their quests that you can do. The quests are nothing super huge. It's a cool idea, but not really there. But their treasures event collection looks really cool. At the end of the trailer, it does look like they are possibly going to be introducing a new character. The one of the tunnels opens up, and then it cuts away, and it's I'm here, right? Like,
Do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think it's going to be Crypto's assistant from his trailer?
Perhaps.
You know?
There's a lot of theories out there. It's really cool. What I do like about the collection is we are getting Armed and Dangerous back.
Oh, shoddy snipers.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best mode yet.
Armed and Dangerous, but there's a change. From what I understand, that you can no longer respawn people at the respawn points.
Yeah.
It's an item you start out with. You can only use once, basically.
Yeah, right there. In fact, it just popped up on
Yeah,
trailer.
that thing,
Mobile
yeah.
respawns right there for
but
everybody.
it can be spawned anywhere.
which
Yeah,
yeah,
which
which
is kinda
I
cool.
think is them testing that.
Yeah,
Do we
I
want
agree.
mobile
I agree. Yeah.
respawns? Do you think mobile respawns would be good for Apex, or do you like the way that it currently sits?
I'm thinking about it. Does it? Let me first answer the question. Does it matter? I think it is more of a strategic game style to have it limited to certain points on the map, and that causes people to fight over those spots. And have them disappear means it becomes more of a risk to go somewhere else. I think I like that better than just having a random spot be placed down. I mean, that's great, but as far as strategy goes,
So you like how
it's forcing people together to fight more.
Yeah, so you like the current
I think that
iteration over everyone being able to respawn one time.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
What
because it forces you. I mean, that's how battle royales work.
Yeah.
It's trying to force fights together, with the cornucopia spots where there's loot. The circle pushing things together. That's the point of the game, and I think that the mobile version is making that less prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan, how about you?
What
You
if
agree?
they did it? No, I agree with what he's saying. What if they did it as a just thinking outside the box here, right? What if they did it as like a drop only, like it's
like
kind of
that.
like a peacekeeper, right? And I'm not talking drops, just regular drops. Like you take the peacekeeper, the new legendary weapons for the season, only available via a drop package.
I think
right?
that's a
so you
really
know what
cool
I mean.
concept.
What if they did it something like that? Then it brings more value to the drop packages, right? Which means brings more people to the drop packages, right? Which causes more fights. Anyway,
Make it a super rare drop.
yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
you
and
know,
then you're-
like the peacekeeper,
and then
stuff like
you have that dilemma: do I bring this with me, or do I bring more ammo?
yeah,
Kind of a thing, right? It's that it'll be nice to have kind of a thing, but it's not needed, So I like that. I like that about these games.
The other thing in the new Apex event that is coming, it's coming next week actually, is Lifeline has been buffed where she can drop her heal bot, and then it automatically does stuff as shield pops up, and she can fight while the bot automatically heals your teammates.
So is that live now, or is that coming?
That is
soon?
coming on the 23rd.
And is that not in the PvE? That's going to be in the PvP.
That's PvP, yeah.
That is such an awesome change to her.
Yeah. So you want to hear my theory on that? It was rumored last week that grenade launchers / rockets, I think it's grenade launchers though, are coming to Apex, might be coming to Apex. And the complaint that a lot of players had is, well, if that comes, there's no defense against that, right? Like it kind of ruins Caustic. However, this move kind of makes her a direct defense to that. She drops a shield, she heals, and she can shoot back, return fire at the same time. That's kind of a direct. You're going to need someone that can build walls, stuff like that, and that's kind of so. Maybe we are getting a grenade launcher.
Well, it'll be interesting because if you take like a Gibraltar, like let's say someone goes down, Gibraltar can throw a shield down and spawn them from the protection of a shield, right? She can do the same thing now. Given her, it's not a full shield. It looks like it's just a frontal shield.
It's a shield, for,
but she
whoever's
can
being
fire
healed.
back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas Gibraltar would be obviously doing the heal animation.
Yeah.
It's basically allows her to do two actions at once, right?
Right there.
A
Look
heal,
how
yeah,
cool
a
that
heal.
is.
Oh, and it
That's
looks like
so
the shield.
cool.
It looks like the shield is bigger though too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, the worst
allowing her to do two actions at once, healing and shooting back.
My
right?
least
So-
favorite part of this game is when you are using an ability and it takes you out of the fight. Like Cryptic. I hate playing as him because whenever you use his little mobile robot, you're not fighting. You're not in the game.
And so, is this a model? If this works with Lifeline, and again, I think Apex keeps moving in this direction of let's keep the action going, let's keep the speed up.
And then when you see that, when somebody does that, you crap your pants because she's now attacking you, and you want to go and attack,
Yeah.
But you have to figure out it's a
creates-
Yeah, who
whole
do you
dynamic.
Do you go for
strategic
her
thing.
or do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that they could do something because Crypto is like the least used character. If they did something to his drone that automates it, it would be much better. It'd be 1,000 times better. He'd become a lot more valuable all of a sudden.
Just have it just float up straight up and make it, and so it's not overpowered because
Yeah.
if
Or
it could-
what if it does like a constant ping while it's out? Like it pings your area every I
and
don't
just
know.
have it easier to be shot down or something.
Something, yeah.
Because it gives away your position, and it's not a full-fledged radar, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we are getting the thing is we are getting a new town rework here with Crypto's satellite. I don't know what is it called. Crypto
Yeah.
something. Crypto's room. And it looks like when you hit a button there, you're able to see everybody on the map as well as what appears to be treasure. And so maybe that's a thing to come. Maybe Crypto will have that ability soon. Maybe they're gonna. There you go. Crypto's map room is what it's called. And there it is this giant satellite that comes up and he hits the button and boom, you can see everybody on the map as well as what appears to be treasure. So
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
Their skins are getting really good.
dude, they are.
Yeah,
This is like
their
this
skins are-
Indiana
yeah.
Jones, Aztec, Egyptian style.
Yeah, I really liked the skins that they kind of introduced with season 4, and even these skins, the Wraith one especially, I think is pretty cool. Anyway, their skins are on point. They're getting good.
Dude, really on point. And then at the end, right there, here I am, and it sounds like it might be a new character, which is super exciting. If that's
Was it
if
kind
that
of
is
a
indeed
deep
the case.
voice? Was it
I
like a
don't-
light
I don't
voice?
know.
Was it a
Kind of-
wussy voice?
Kind of, it was
I
kind of like
don't
in the
remember, to
middle.
be
It was kind of like a
honest.
neutral toned
kind of
voice.
a
so it was
mid-tone.
really, yeah,
Right there in the
mid-tone. Really hard to
mid-tones.
tell. See, I think their skins, they're on point.
Yeah, they're really good.
With EA then went and showed off Lost in Random by Haze Light. He's the
They're a cool developer.
cool developer. This looks like a story, like a very emotionally driven story.
This is from the same people that did A Way Out and I believe A Tale of Two Brothers.
Brothers,
Yeah.
yeah, brothers. And so this they do a good job. Like he's kind of experimenting with storytelling. They did like an interview with him during EA Play. Showing,
Well, I mean, it's an EA, presentation. They have to have 20 minutes of interview before they show
and he
the
just talked
gameplay.
about wanting to really merge like filmmaking and videos and telling this story. It looks
Yeah.
super interesting.
Although his interview, like, I feel like I'd want to hang out with that guy.
yeah.
He seemed like a really exciting guy.
Yeah, so this is Lost in Random. The trailer that we're watching now was another game. Now Lost in Random looks like this platformer type of game.
I was just gonna say his game wasn't Lost in Random.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm switching. to
Okay.
this.
Sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, his game was like it almost had like a.
Wait, yeah,
Life is
you were
Strange
talking about
feel.
Lost in Random, but his game was before this. Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
It Takes Two.
Takes Two is his game.
yeah.
Sorry.
You want-
sorry.
you want
well,
me to
no,
do that?
Lost in Random's up. We could talk
Yeah.
about Lost in
All
Random.
right,
Sorry.
let's go back
Anyways,
to Lost in Random.
Anyways, It Takes Two is this game. It has a very Nightmare Before Christmas kind of feel to it. Very, I don't know, 3D platformer style. It didn't do anything for me necessarily, but it didn't look bad either. It just is what it is for me.
Yeah, this one's Lost in Random.
Yeah, Lost in Random. Yeah.
yeah.
Any thoughts on this one, guys? Any opinions? Because we're coming up to a game.
It's like Nightmare Before Christmas was a video game.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
Which
exactly.
I liked, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the movie. So
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Just throwing that out there.
I don't know. I mean, the thing about all these trailers is I really didn't get a lot from this whole presentation.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of cinematics on this one specifically. It looks dark. It looks eerie. It looks Nightmare Before Christmassy. Could be good.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be good.
And
I
these
mean, who wouldn't?
these games here, the Lost in Random and It Takes Two, are a part of the EA Originals,
Yeah.
which are their kind of.
In-house.
Would you call it I don't want to necessarily call it an ID at Xbox, but it's similar.
I think it
It's
is.
Yeah, I
similar
think
to
it is.
that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that's exactly right.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
let's go to a game Jordan was excited
This
for.
is my no one else agrees with me.
Yeah, and let's discuss why we have a
But this
disagreement
next
here.
one, I think, was
The-
my favorite one.
The next
and I'm
game
really
that was
excited
shown,
for it.
or one of the games that was shown here in EA Play was Rocket Arena. Jordan, why don't you explain what Rocket Arena is and what they showed?
So basically, what it is it's a 3v3 hero shooter, and you have rockets, right? That's like your main. Everybody has a different type of rocket gun, but also because it's a hero shooter, everybody has kind of these, I assume these abilities. It looked like from the trailer they had these abilities. I like this game because for one, I dig the art style. I think it's a cool art style. I like hero shooters a lot. I think hero shooters are a good gaming genre. The maps are dynamic. We saw that in games like Bleeding Edge, where the maps, there was hazards on the maps that you need to watch out for. I like that. I like that they have multiple maps. It looks like it's gonna be a full fleshed out game. It's coming out just in July. 2 weeks after launch, they already have their season 1 planned. They have the battle pass that's coming. They have skins. I think they said, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a pretty big number. Was it like 90 levels per character that you can kind of customize different skins? All obviously they have a diverse cast of characters because it's a hero shooter. Anyway, I think it looks cool. I'm excited for it. No one else is.
No, let me tell you. And let me tell you, I mean, this very well, this very well could be a good game. I do like that there's smaller numbers here, like you said, like 3v3.
Yeah.
I think Spicy, when we were talking about it, referred to this as Smash, the Smash of hero shooters.
Bleeding Edge
right?
meets
if
Smash
Bleeding Edge was Smash, that's
Yeah.
what this game would be.
My issue is I just think it's bad timing. I think team-based shooters, team-based character hero shooters, the market is saturated right now. I mean, Bleeding Edge is a fantastic game. And when was the last time you played it? And I think it's because we're hero shootered out, and this is exactly what this is. And this very well could be a good game. I just don't know that it's the right time for this game to launch. I know I'm hero shootered out, and I don't even play hero shooters. The other thing that I'm out of is Battle Pass. I'm Battle Passed out, which is why I really like Warzone. What they've done to decide not to go with a Battle Pass.
I don't know. See, but I like the Battle Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like the Battle Pass. I think certain games out there should have Battle Passes.
Yeah, and so I just think even if this is a good game, this could be a very good game, but it just feels like that market is saturated at the moment. Hero-based shooters, you've seen one, you've seen them all. And that might be unfair. This might do something completely different. That's just how I feel. Don't tell me how I feel is wrong. Spicy, how about you? What did I do like that side mode though? That looked cool.
I'll give it a chance, but it kind of, I mean, it's a third-person rocket shooter. We'll call it that. If Bleeding Edge was Smash, and it kind of felt like a kind of. It honestly looks kind of like a mobile game to me. So I don't know.
No, and that's the thing. This could be a good game, a very good game. I just don't know where they fit into the market, and maybe they etch out a niche for themselves. I
want it to do good, but
Well, they do have, like I said, they already have like a season 1 plan, so obviously they're thinking ahead. So, but anyway, I think it looks cool, man. I think it does look a lot like Bleeding Edge, but with
look
with
at
rocket. You know what I mean?
here's
It's
the
just
thing.
more
with
range.
rockets.
But here-
rockets.
Here's the thing. Let's go through them. You got Bleeding Edge. You've got Overwatch. You've got Valorant now. You've got Rogue. That's Rogue
Well,
Company
I
that's
mean,
coming out.
Valorant.
That's a team. That's a hero-based shooter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
100%.
no, it is. But it's also
You've got Paladins. You've got. Did I say Bleeding Edge already?
yeah.
Yes.
I would
Go ahead and say
even-
it twice.
Bleeding Edge.
Overwatch. You have Overwatch.
You
You've got,
said that, but go ahead and say it.
You've got Rainbow Six. I would put as a hero shooter because of the abilities that they use in Rainbow Six.
But what's the difference? I mean, I know the difference, but I just want to spark debate here, David. I was just kidding. Like, let's take Warface and Valorant.
Okay. The hero abilities.
I know abilities is the difference, but I mean, Valorant is still very similar gameplay to Warzone, other than the abilities.
No,
that
I
they have,
no,
right?
and
You know
I think
what
that that's
So-
the iteration. I think
Yeah.
that the iteration is the reason that Valorant is popular is because it is this hybrid. It's leaning more in the direction of a CS:GO.
Yeah.
It's like if you took CS:GO gameplay and threw in abilities, right? Like that's exactly.
Well, it's
what
more
Valorant
tactical,
is, right?
right?
Yeah, more. Yeah, it's
And
just
may-
more in that
may-
direction. So is
Maybe this will be tactical.
maybe. I just don't see how is this.
Hopefully, I can
game-
play it on my phone.
I just don't see where there's space, unless this game just destroys it and is just next level. Where this fits in all of that, I don't see. I don't see how you compete with a Valorant. I don't see how you compete with because what they're doing is different enough. Like that's the next iteration of the hero shooter, and you can see it. That's why Valorant is having
yeah.
success. I just that's just my feelings on the matter.
No, that's fine.
I hope it's fun.
No, I
Yeah.
do too. I like the trailer. I'm excited for it.
We'll see.
I was the only one.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. The next game, or another game that was talked about, and let's
big one.
Well, let's talk about Skate first. They did announce Skate, so it seems like skateboarding games are coming back. Skate was announced. We're getting Tony Hawk remastered, and now we're getting Skate. Skate.
I'm not even going to pull up the trailer because there was
no trailer for Skate. It was just the developers talking about it. Jordan, you were.
I was just gonna say Skate's cool because it's like the
It's
Forza of skateboarding.
It's the
you know what I mean?
simulator.
Like, yeah.
Whereas Tony Hawk was the arcade,
Yeah.
Skate was the simulator.
Because like to do an ollie, you had to go down and
up,
up on
like-
your joystick, and
almost
like it was
what you have to
very
do with your feet,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It was really cool, and it's I'm excited for the next iteration of it.
But let's talk about their big game, their marquee game, and that is Star Wars Squadrons. We talked about it last week. We did get a teaser trailer last week, but we got no gameplay. Or was this at the beginning of this week? My weeks all get jumbled together. We got gameplay today. Jordan, let's go with you first. Now, Star Wars Squadron is the flying-based space fighter game coming from EA in the Star Wars universe. Give me your thoughts and impression on what you saw with Squadron here, the gameplay.
Well, first I have to say they did my favorite format of trailer.
They did, yes.
It
Explaining
was like a 4 to 5 minute trailer. They had the gameplay in the background, and then they had that nice person with a voice just telling you what's going on, like the old Red Dead. The best. I think that's the best trailer model, and everybody should do that. But anyway, I think the game looks pretty cool.
I do too.
I don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
The only reason I stand 50-50 with this game, I think it looks good, and I think the flying looks real smooth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would hope so, right? Like we're watching it live here on the stream. The way he goes in through explosions, through corridors, the way they basically do that quick little J turn, it looks really smooth. It looks like a fun game, that especially if you have the Thrustmaster,
yes.
It looks like a fun game. Can I see myself playing this game long term? That's the question. Because was it Motive that did the Starfighter mode in Battlefront 2?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I know they helped work on that game. But anyway, the Starfighter Assault mode in Battlefront 2 was fun, and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't play it forever. And obviously, before everybody gets mad, obviously this is much more in depth. It's much more fleshed out. I understand that. That's great. But it's kind of like the Ace Combat games. I like the Ace Combat games, but that replay, is it there? Can I?
Ace Combat though feels more niche than Like my favorite Star Wars games are these games, the Star Wars fighter games, and I think this looks fantastic. What I do like is they're doing. Basically, you've got to put together a team with your different ships with different abilities. You've got your bombers. You've got your A-Wing, which is super fast. Your support fighters. What is the support? The support one can heal or bring in ammo?
They're pulling in the Trinity in dogfighting. I actually think it's awesome.
Yeah. It's super cool. And just look at like space fighting. Dogfighting in space is always good in the Star Wars universe. What I did notice, what did stand out to me, is they spent a lot less time on single player. It was like your first minute and a half was single player, and then the rest of it was multiplayer and explaining it. So this looks like to me intended multiplayer to be the main part of this game. And if they can nail that, dude, I am all there.
Yeah.
And I do like the TIE fighter. The fact that the TIE fighter can like do this 360 in space and turn around.
Yeah, that little
turn.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Spicy, how about you? Thoughts, impressions?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had a good dogfighting game.
Yeah.
And
that right there.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think the last dogfighting game that I really liked was on the OG Xbox. I can't remember its name, but it had like prop planes.
Crimson Skies, was it that one?
I think so.
Was it Crimson Skies?
Was it Crimson Skies?
I don't know.
It's just
It's a plane game.
Yeah, dogfighting games are really really fun, and I kind of wet my palate a little bit with Elite Dangerous with their bounty hunter mode and everything. But this looks fast, hardcore dogfighting in the Star Wars universe, and I think I'm really really going to like this.
Yeah.
The thing about dogfighting games is I don't think it's for everybody. Like, I don't know if, you didn't like Elite Dangerous too much, right? But that wasn't because you liked it once, dogfighting.
I actually preferred the dogfighting mode over.
I don't think dogfighting's for everybody, but I feel like there's a vacuum or there's a lack of dogfighting games out there.
Yeah.
And there has been for a while. A modern dogfighting game will have progression, like the old ones didn't have progression.
Sure.
Upgrading your ships.
Well, yeah, they had all the components listed they just showed there in the trailer.
Yes,
And the customization.
So it's going to be a modern dogfighting game, and I love that it's in the Star Wars universe because I love that universe. I love how fast you go through the ships, like you're going through the Death Star in Return of the Jedi. You know how fast you can go through that. I think it's exciting to see this really, and to see all this gameplay. I really like the trailer. It was a little long for my taste. It kind of they kind of started beating a dead horse over and over because they were kind of repeating themselves in some spots. but it was overall a real exciting thing to watch because of the hardcore dogfighting aspect to this game.
This is going to be my favorite mode. So there's going to have a couple different modes. There's going to have dogfight mode, which is just team deathmatch.
5v5.
A 5v5. And then this is going to be one of the modes right here that we're watching, and this is fleet battles. And basically, you've got a fleet with you. You're going against a team with a fleet. Think of Battlefield. What's the mode in Battlefield where like you've got to always put like you win this line and then you push forward to the opens up the next line?
Front lines. Although I think that's front lines.
That's
or
kinda,
like Conquest Assault.
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of this concept here in that when you beat your team past a certain level, then you go on to attack their frontline ships. Then you go on to attack, their next ships, and then you're got to take down their Star Destroyer, right? Like that's a really cool
tug of war.
Is this tug of war type of battle, and you've got to move your ships back to defense or offense depending on how your team is doing. But the way that it looks blows my mind on those scenes. That's why I think fleet mode is the mode that I'm most interested in at the moment.
The flying does look incredibly smooth, right?
Yeah,
that's why
really
I think
good.
with like
It's space, there's no friction.
if you got a joystick setup, I think this game will be really fun, right? So
yeah,
like I said, I think it looks cool. My only question is the longevity, right? Like, can you play this?
Well, if multiplayer is not fun, then that's
well,
not going to work.
The thing that's been missing in dogfighting games for longevity is progression.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like they're adding to this. So I think you're going to have that aspect added to this game, which is really exciting to see.
No, it'll be fun. Well, they did talk about no microtransactions.
Yeah, that's
of
so
course.
you don't got to worry about
EA's
that.
never going to make that mistake.
You don't got to worry about that. So there's that. It's all earnable in game, which is really cool.
Overall, I mean, I think the EA this does come out October 2nd, by the way, of this year. So we've just got
soon.
a couple months to look forward to this.
Before you move on, having a buff debuff fighter, and then a straight attack fighter, and then tank fighters. Basically, I'd call those. Actually, I don't know if they really have tank fighters.
I think
more
it's
like
DPS
with the bombers, right? You have your different aspects. It's gonna be really cool to see that,
how that works
game.
together.
Well, and team compositions, right? Like, do you do 2 of this, 2 of that, 1 of it, right?
It's gonna be super cool, and I really like how the support class disables other planes as well as heals.
Beam.
Yeah,
It has a tractor beam.
Super interesting how that support class is going to work out. So
it's very exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah,
October 2nd. This is a big game coming from EA. Well done, EA, with this Star Wars game and Motive. Overall, I thought the EA conference. I was expecting to see more next gen. I know that's not typically what EA does. Anyways, but they did also show off Madden. They also showed off FIFA. They really talked a lot about in those games. They showed off a little bit of The Sims, but they talked about in their sports games how next generation is going to be used. They showed off. They had a couple things showing, load times, next generation, spatial audio, how they can take advantage in different games with these things. But beyond that, they didn't show like a next gen game yet, which EA I don't think really ever does. They kind of show the game that are coming out that year, the year of, right?
Which I appreciate.
That is, yes, I appreciate that too. But in a next gen year, it would have been nice to see a next gen game, in my opinion.
I agree. I also think, I mean, if we're going to compare presentations so far, I love Sony's.
Yes, Sony's was good.
Just game after game after game after game.
Here's the thing: EA sticks to a presentation, and they always stick to that presentation. Like this was the same.
It's not my favorite format to have 20 minutes of somebody talking.
EA Play,
and then the game for a minute, and then another 20 minutes of people
Here's
talking.
the thing:
I don't like that.
If you think about it, EA Play Live, right? EA Play Live is their thing. It really is a conference that they do at E3 every year that is built for people to come in and try out their games.
Yeah,
that's how they're set up. It's not the same. I don't think they view it as the same purpose as a Microsoft or a PlayStation or an Ubisoft or a Bethesda. They're set up away from E3, usually in Hollywood somewhere. That's a pain to get to.
Yeah, it is.
But it's full of tents, and you wait in line to play and sample these new games.
And they give out good swag.
They do give out some of the best swag.
Let me tell you a story here. I had a lot of yard work this week at my house.
Oh, okay.
I actually busted out the EA Play hat for shade. It works fantastic. Yeah, it was really good. It works great.
Now that
my wife was embarrassed. She closed the windows. I was like, "Oh, this is great."
So there you go. Super exciting. We're starting to get lots of news on games. It's just a good time. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be alive. and to be a gamer.
Be a gamer, yeah, for sure, yeah.
And that brings us to the next segment of our show.
Okay.
This is the news segment. Jordan, tell us what is happening in the world that is Xbox One this week.
Lots of good stuff. So first thing is actually I want to talk about Warzone.
Oh, dirty Season 1.
Warzone.
Season 1.
Last week we talked about the new events that they're doing. I called them modes because I actually thought they were modes at the time, but apparently I can't read properly. Anyway, I was talking to Ronan and I actually got to jump into a match yesterday.
Okay.
The events that they're doing, I just gotta say, it is actually really cool. So what it is those 3 events we talked about last week.
Oh, sorry, you said Warzone. I thought you were talking about Warface.
No, Warzone.
I
Yeah,
get
Call
so
of Duty.
confused.
Yeah, there's a lot of war out there.
I get so confused. Okay, Warzone though.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Warzone. So those events we were talking about last week, they're in-game events. So every round, they have a random chance of spawning one of those events. The jailbreak, which is everybody gets out of the gulag. The fire sale, which everything's super cheap at the store. And then, of course, the supply chopper, which basically brings in this heavily supplied chopper that you just got to just DPS down, and then it drops a crate, and that crate has, like, UAVs. They got a ton of good stuff in this. So I got to play, and actually having those events in-game, I feel like everybody's going... kind of moving, at least battle royales anyway, are kind of moving towards this, and I'm going to call it the Fortnite style events, where they do them live, they do them in game.
Yeah.
Like, I like the randomness. You can get one of 3 game mode or one of those 3 randomly throughout the game, and from what I can tell, it almost, I don't know if there's certain minutes that it happens. I only played a few matches. If there's certain time frames it happens, but it seems like it literally happens randomly.
That's cool.
Right? So, which is really cool. Anyway, I just want to give them credit.
Yeah.
And then just tell you that the in-game events is
Speaking
really cool.
of that, Fortnite did
Yeah.
have their event this week that
I watched
that
it with
turned
you.
over. It was cool
On your
man.
stream.
You have got to give them credit on style. I mean, we say this a lot, but damn,
Yeah.
they do a good job.
Well, and just how they do it in-game with, I mean, it's
In
cool.
game, it's an event. It's crazy. Everybody's freaking out. Like
Ball towers came up.
the ball towers, and they got electrified.
They did.
Then they lost some gravity, and then they have a little bit of Abstergo
Yeah,
storytelling there.
they
You're
did.
going back
They
and forth.
incorporated Abstergo. They
Yeah.
Fortnited
They
Abstergo.
Fortnited Abstergo.
It was
really did.
pretty awesome. So anyway, moving on. So Fortnite had their event. Warzone has those cool events that we talked about last week that are going on right now, and then Vigor had their launch of Season 4.
Season Quattro.
I got to jump in. Let me give you my first impressions, so that I'll turn it over to David because he's played more than I have. My first impressions is I don't like the new map for this season.
Fisk.
Fisk, their featured map.
Fisk.
I like the name.
Yeah,
Fisk.
that's
It's a
a good
fishing.
one.
It's a fishing town. I believe Fisk means fish.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, that's according to at least any time in that game, because it's like it takes place in Norway. Every time I see a sign with a fish, it says Fisk. So I'm just assuming.
Fish.
I learned more.
Fish,
I'm
yeah.
deducing.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So that there's nothing wrong with that map. It's just not my style of map, right? I prefer the other maps. I wish they would change them more frequently, though.
Yeah, you're getting about one every update. So there's 2 updates a season, and so it changes about every update.
I wish, and this is just my opinion, weekly.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
wish there was a
think
weekly
I think
change,
more
right?
more consistent turnover. Here's the thing. One of the weaknesses of Vigor, they have couple world class maps, and they have a couple duds. Fisk is actually not a dud. I've actually grown to understand Fisk a little more. But here's the problem with Fisk. Fisk is this giant map. I'm holding up my hands. Just think of like a 1 by 1 by 1 foot map, right? Square foot map. And then picture just the edges of that map. Here and here is where all the gameplay takes place. So you have
Lots of wasted space.
You have 9/10 of the map just empty that nobody goes to. That's the problem with that map.
Mm-hmm.
And
Welcome
it's
to
so
DayZ.
segmented. Yeah.
That's these are the guys that
It's the
made
same
DayZ.
developers, yeah. Same developers. There you go.
No, so they of course have a new battle pass, which they got a lot of cool new stuff. But what I jumped into, so I jumped into a couple regular raids, which was fun because I didn't get to play it till later in the week. I did jump into a few rounds of the new game mode,
Elimination mode.
which is it's basically team deathmatch,
Team deathmatch, capture the flag.
which is great, and
Yeah.
everybody is spawned with the same loadout.
Everybody,
so
both
it's
teams.
all just hey, who's
Those
better, you or
maps,
me?
those maps,
map is
are
good.
really good.
Yeah,
that
the
map,
oil tanker.
That map takes place on one island, and then you do each match at a different part of the island. So there's actually 4 maps within one map there. That needs to be an encounter.
I did
map.
the boat.
That boat map is my
Yeah,
favorite.
I call it the oil.
That's
oil
my favorite.
tanker. I don't
That's
know
my
what it
favorite
is. It's a
one.
big boat.
The elimination mode is good. They dropped it without. You can't team up with your friends yet, so it's randoms that you get put in with.
But you were saying
once
they're coming.
teams come, that will be good. Teams are coming probably in the first update of season 4.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be really good for that. It's just an arcade mode, but it is really good. Overall, season 4, I think, is one of the best seasons, if not the best season that they dropped. It just feels like Vigor's maturing. This feels like a mature release.
Well, you can feel that they're adding new stuff. It's progression, right? It's,
Yeah.
You know, you can feel that they're
coming into their
Yeah.
own. Teddy Bear says I used mortars today. Fantastic. This is the one that dropped mortars. I've been using mortars. Mortars don't unlock until level 35 in the battle pass with the blueprints, but you can get them in the safe. You can pick them up off of other players.
Have you got
They're
a
fun.
chance to use them?
I have got a chance
Is it
to
a
use them.
one-hit kill? I haven't seen
It is not a one-hit kill,
two
but
hits, right?
But if you don't move, it basically is a way to flush people out of camping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the intention is to kill people. Although if they don't move and they try to bunker down, they will be killed. Every time I used one, the player immediately, it's like a shock and awe.
It's
and then they
essentially
run.
like a grenade. When you hear a grenade, you run.
They run. Yeah, there are no grenades in this game, but yeah, they run, and it's just a good way to flush people out. They didn't improve their battle pass. I had a huge complaint about their battle pass last season, in that because so take Tarkov. The reason Tarkov here, I figured out why Tarkov doesn't have battle pass, because it's counter to the point of the game. The point of the game is to get in, get as much good loot as you can, survive, and get out. There's a risk reward with that. You are rewarded for taking risk at times, right? Those games are at their best when you take that risk and you survive, or even if you take that risk and you don't quite make it, but you're like, dang, that
Good
game is
fight.
at their best. With a battle pass, the way that last season was done in Vigor is if I go in and I take a risk and I die, 0 XP towards my battle pass. And so in a game like that, you're like, that just it's like counterintuitive. It's like two competing interests: the battle pass and the way Vigor is supposed to be played. Like the battle pass discourages any type of play except for avoid everybody and get out, right? Like, which essentially hurts the game. They've made some tweaks. This battle pass this season, you're getting experience for doing stuff, and the way they fixed it is they added bonus XP in there at every 5 levels. So now it's possible actually to do the battle pass.
Well, and that's how they do it. In this last update, let's take Tarkov for example. They made changes to essentially push back against just running in and running out, right?
Yeah.
For example, in Tarkov now, I don't know the exact number, but you have to either get a kill or loot so much worth of it, or you loot things, which gives you experience, and you have to go get so much experience worth before you can extract, or it counts it as a run through. And what a run through is basically like you just ran through the raid.
yeah,
You know what
you're
I mean?
just map
Right.
knowledge, right?
They also, they made some other changes as well, but I mean, Vigor should do that same thing. Like, obviously, you get more XP for.
Yeah, they've
they've
adjusted it in such a way that they now are more congruent. Like
Yeah.
the battle pass and the
What
the game
they
style is
should
complete.
do, and I think what'll help is if you. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you think of them giving you like an outrageous amount of XP for getting kills? Like looting gives you XP. Let's say
That's
like
how it
looting
was
gives you
before.
50 XP
They were giving you 500 XP for
a kill,
for
right?
like a headshot, right?
Which encourages fighting, right? Not
Which
just a
encourages
headshot, but
fighting.
just a kill, right?
They actually removed that. It's much more balanced.
Yeah.
You only get 100 for a kill now, and only 100 for a headshot. So it's not even close as much. Whereas if you get X amount of loot, of rare loot, or this certain type of loot, you can run out with 400 XP, right?
Yeah.
So it's much more balanced of,
That's good.
because it got to a point last season where I didn't care about loot at all. Like,
Yeah, you
I'm
just went
jumping
to
in.
go
I'm going
for
for
kills.
kills so that I can take their loot. This season I do care about loot, and it's because of these adjustments that they've made. They've done a good job
That's good.
overall.
That's good.
What if they did? You get more XP per higher level the person is. That's
That
what
would be cool.
Tarkov does.
Yeah, see, that would be cool. But they do have titles now, that you could base that off time played, or they don't have a level up system, but they have battle pass levels, so you could base it off of that.
Time played, I guess you could do it. Or
I mean,
yeah.
they have different stuff. Like, for instance,
Maybe
the guys
your
that you know
shelter
are
level,
the guys that
right?
you know are good. They have these titles that I've killed 1,000 Outlanders, and that's really hard in that game. So those guys are like legit, right?
They
so
play
you could do
nothing
it. So you could
but
do it that
game.
way. But that's a really Tarkov has the best system. Let's be honest. Like they're doing it right.
for that style of game.
Yeah, for that style of
If
game.
it was any other style, I would destroy my mind. That's just rough. Yeah, it's a rough game.
So Vigor Season 4 is available now for everybody, and then we have another update with Warface. Their Season 1 is available, and this I did get to play quite a few.
Yeah, what did you think? Because they did also drop patch notes for this where they doubled down on improvements and some improvements.
Yes, so this patch, before we get into the juicy stuff, it does come with improvements. One of the improvements that they talked about is freezes. So they've done a hot fix to freezes, right? Obviously, just a bunch of different quality of life stuff. You know, they're continuously improving the game via lag, freezes, all that stuff, right? And there's more patches to come, right? They're continuously working on it. This big patch, though, was about Season 1, right?
Yeah.
Most of it was Season 1.
Ranked mode is here officially.
It is, all right.
I should say another big one that was at least big for me. There was also... Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Anyway, anyway.
The big one for you was big old never mind.
Never mind.
I was looking at something else. The big one for me was ranked mode, and actually, funny enough, punishing people for doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Like killing your teammates, because in ranked mode, friendly fire's on. So don't playfully shoot your teammate in ranked mode.
What happens?
You will kill them. I think you get removed from the game.
That's CSGO. Yeah, that's just like CSGO.
Yeah,
and you get banned for a certain amount of time.
Which, honestly, it's kind of hard.
It looks like the ban is 24 hours is what I've seen from people.
That's CSGO level banning.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
so if you get removed from a game,
even for latency, if you have latency issues, people have been banned.
Is that to prevent like lagging?
I like that.
It finally encourages people with good internet. Right?
yeah. Latency issues have been people with latency have been banned.
Yeah, so I believe it's AFK.
That 24-hour.
So current penalty system considers all types of leaving as leaving, right? So anytime you leave. So if you leave intentionally, like, oh shoot, gotta go to dinner, don't start a ranked match before dinner, right?
Yeah.
AFK. So if you're AFK, it kicks you.
How do we know how much time AFK?
Yeah, because there is. So in this game, I have had in casual play instances.
Oh, people leave all the time.
Instances where the game starts and it's a 2-minute round. Even if they just are 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, that's the difference of a game. And then they don't start moving. I'd be curious what the time is for that.
For AFK at least.
Yeah, for AFK.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be like 5 seconds. I'm
sure.
That's
a tricky one because here's the thing. In ranked mode, you're punished enough that I don't think it will exist in ranked mode. That's something that was happening in casual mode as people are trying to learn the game. So
I think a good AFK timer is 1 minute in games like this.
Yeah.
Because it does not, and I mean, because the game can obviously register like, oh, he's in the well, I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know, but the thing is I didn't test this out, but does the store have a timer in ranked mode?
Yes.
Does it in ranked
Because
mode?
in CSGO, the store has a timer, so you can't just cheat the system and say, oh, I was in the store the whole time.
It makes
you know what
sense.
I mean?
I'm sure it does.
But anyway, we'll come back. But anyway, I think a minute is good for AFK. If you're sitting there for a minute, you're obviously, you're not ready to go. You got to use the bathroom before the game,
yeah,
and after the game,
or during,
but
bring it in with you.
Yeah, it's wireless technology. You gotta, But no, I do actually like that you're being punished for leaving, because you're probably still gonna lose that game because you're down a player, right? But the satisfaction you have out of that loss is that guy's not going to play for the next 24 hours, right? And that's what he deserves, right? But anyway, Season 1 is here. Like David said, there's not really a traditional battle pass. What they have is they have seasonal milestones, I guess if you want to call them, seasonal rewards. When you reach certain things like, certain rankings, you get different unlocks, different banners and stuff like that. They do have a new Season 1 loot box that you can get. So every time you level up with let's just say your player level, you get a loot box, right? Which then unlocks a random piece of, skin.
And those are common loot boxes that you get.
Yeah, now they do the same thing. They just have a Season 1 loot box in addition to the regular loot box. How that works is you also have a season ranking now.
Yeah.
So as you play, for example, my first round, I got 70 points because we dominated, right?
Domination.
I mean, I think you can get more than 70 points.
We're just so good.
But we won. We got 70 points, and that ranks you up, right? You have a separate ranking for season ranking and just your player level, right? So there's your player level, and then there's your rank, right? which is really cool. Every time that levels up, of course, season loot box as well. I think I actually haven't opened it. Yeah, I haven't opened a season loot box yet because I was we're on a roll. You know what I mean? And when you're on a roll,
you got to keep going.
You don't mess up the matchmaking.
It's like messing with Lady Luck.
Yeah, you don't do that. Anyway, I actually like the season 1. I like the season progression. I do get your point about being battle passed out. I like the battle pass system, but I do like what they're doing.
It's nice.
It's
nice.
Okay, if I earn rank 20, I'll get this reward, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for it. It's
No,
just
I like
earn
that a lot.
this, they even have different variations of rankings, which I understand how they work, but it's still kind of a little confusing. You know how they have the 3 different rankings? Like there's your base rankings, and then what is it? In so many days, the next ranking will unlock, and then the next ranking after that, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. They did also add a little quality of life that I didn't notice before. Now, this is the first time I actually played Warface in about a week because...
important note on the loot boxes before you move on. If you ever get a dupe, they will give you coins instead. So there's no duplicates.
Yeah.
In their loot crates. They also are very upfront about the percentages of your loot crates. So your percentages is uncommon is 54%, or common is 54%. Uncommon is a 30%, so any item that's uncommon, you got a 30% chance. Rare items, you get a 10% chance of getting. Epic, 5%, and legendary is a 1%.
That old 1% RNG.
Dude, that 1%.
Now, here's the question.
I do like their transparency on this topic particularly.
No, I do too.
Like, let me know that.
I do have one question, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
That'll either make me upset or not upset.
Okay, go ahead.
How much currency do you get for a duplicate? Because if
I
it is
don't know, it
anything
doesn't
like
say.
Overwatch, then it's
shoot me now. Just shoot me now.
It's literally a waste.
It doesn't say.
Literally does nothing. If I get their real money currency or in-game currency, if I get like 1 coin per duplicate, it's just like, what's the point? Like, just what's the point?
It just says you get a certain amount of coins instead of a duplicate, depending on the item rarity. So the higher rarity, the higher coins you get, right?
Okay. Yeah, in Overwatch you get what, 5 coins?
And then you can spend those games in the game
duplicate?
shop.
What you get from Overwatch is called depression. That's what you get from that loot box series.
That is funny.
The game we're talking about is Warface Breakout. Everyone in chat that's asking.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I was going to say something else. I feel like there was another good... Oh, yeah, a little quality of life thing. Now, like I said, I haven't played this in a week, so I don't know if this came in a hotfix or if this... Because I played it just right after the patch launched.
Yeah.
On their maps, they actually show the zones of the bomb now, and they show the zones of the store. Like, you know how when you load into a map, it says you're playing on...
No, that's new.
That's
on
actually
Sandstorm,
good, yeah.
which is...
That's new with Season 1.
Yeah, so you're playing on Sandstorm, which, by the way, it's like the only map I play. So if they could, get that map rotation.
Do you like
going.
Sandstorm?
I do. Okay.
I like it now. I didn't like it at first.
I think all of their maps are good. I don't think there's one that I just like absolutely hate. I think Sandstorm is my least favorite of all 5
I really
maps.
like Sandstorm now. I think on attack especially. But
My favorite map is City because that one just feels good. There's ways under the map. There's high and low.
Yeah.
that map feels good.
that does
you
feel
know
good.
what I mean?
That is a good map.
I think that's my favorite. I think Sandstorm's my least favorite. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. It's just.
There's no long angles on that map.
It's an. Yeah. It's
On
just.
Sandstorm?
Except that middle corridor, right?
The middle corridor, because you can shoot across.
If you go through there, you're dead.
Yeah. If anyone's camping up top, yeah.
Yeah. I
think,
don't know. Everywhere else, it just feels like close quarter stuff.
Yeah. Also, you can get up on each side of A and B and kind of look down, and that's kind of a.
But you're
long
only
angle,
looking
but
down
not,
at the
but
point.
not a
It's
super
just.
long.
It's. Yeah. I think City is my favorite because you have the upper and lower, right? You have paths that cut straight through the middle. You have the underground, right? I think there's a lot of paths and a lot of map knowledge and a lot of angles, right? A lot of places to check when you come around the corners. I think the next best one after that is, I call it shipment, but I think it's actually called cargo. And the reason I like cargo is same thing. There's a middle kind of area that leads in all the directions, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of corners to check. There's upper and lowers, right? There's cutting through the map. I like that. After that, it's really kind of a free-for-all for the other two. What's the other one called?
Oasis,
and then there's another
Sandstorm.
one. Sandstorm's my least favorite. I like Oasis
Your
and
shipment one that you call
the Cargo
Cargo
is my next favorite one. And then we played it the other day. It's where you start and you cross the bridge as the attackers.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah, I know
well,
that
I
you're
forget the
talking
name of it. Anyway, interesting. I hope they come out with more maps like City. I really like the way City is. Anyway, but no, yeah. So on the loading screen, when you load in, it shows a overview of the map, and what it does now is it shows the actual zone for B and zone for A, so you can see where it's at on the map, and then it shows the zones for each store on each side, which is really cool. It did feel the game's kind of hit and miss for me, even when we were playing the other night, and it was kind of hit or miss for me. The new patch, again, it did feel a little bit better with, of course, freezes and lag. Like, I didn't really notice too much lag in the rounds that I played. But the game's almost hit and miss. I feel like there's some rounds where I have a pretty flawless experience, and there's other matches where it's just like it's rough for a round and then good and then rough again. You know what I mean? So,
I like it rough.
Not this rough, David.
Yeah, not with your lag.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. This is not the kind of rough that feels good.
they do also have. We've spent a lot of time about this, so I'll move on. But they do have seasonal cosmetics that you can buy. And actually, you look like a Spartan from Halo for is it the Warden side?
Yeah.
Anyway, they have some cool cosmetics.
It is cool. Season 1. There you go.
Very cool. Cyberpunk.
Oh,
It got delayed again.
Good/bad news.
Yeah, so it got delayed. I believe it was September is when they said it was going to come out.
September.
Now
it's
it's
November 19th.
Yeah, November 19th. So we got a hard date, November 19th. They did say that it was actually kind of funny how they said it. They said, "Hey, we're hoping this is the last time we delay it."
I honestly, like, I'm disappointed, kind of, but honestly, I'm gonna be purchasing this on the next gen. So the closer you move it to next gen releases, or
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Interesting.
why not?
Interesting stuff about the next gen. So the game will be releasing. What was it? November 19th.
November 19th.
Yeah. It will be on next gen consoles.
Yes. But it won't necessarily have the update at launch, right?
Exactly. The game will. It's kind of confusing. Like, you got to read it through. So, Cyberpunk 2077 will be available
Everywhere.
on launch day on the next gen consoles via backward compatibility. Right. So you can still get your next gen console loaded up. Cyberpunk will be there. You can play it. It won't be graphically updated and all the, like, it won't be taking full advantage of the new
not
systems
yet. They're coming out
until
with,
they come out with that patch, much like we saw with, like, the Xbox One X, right? That patch is to be determined, right?
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily say when it was coming out. They kind of were very hesitant on saying a date on when it's coming out.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
But
Yeah, they got to finish that genital
Yeah.
part of the game.
in 4K 120 frames.
Yeah.
The
That's- right now, it's just pixels.
The official quote from Cyberpunk in the statement said that, quote, both content and gameplay-wise, the game is finished. However, we want to take more time for balancing, fixing bugs, and making the game more polished. Which,
I think
it's such an ambitious game.
Yeah. And
Why not?
I do believe one of the criticisms of The Witcher was bugs and stuff like that, right? So maybe they're trying to avoid that. They did talk about expansions and multiplayer. I'm not really thinking about multiplayer in this game because, like, it's not, I think first and foremost is a single-player story-driven game, right, which is fine with me. But they did talk about those will be delayed according to the new launch date, right? So if, this was delayed by so many weeks, those will probably be delayed by so many weeks, right? Which there wasn't really, any release date for those anyway. And multiplayer, they touched on that a little bit, still way out there.
Yeah.
Still way far out there, right?
Multiplayer is going to be interesting. Their first kind of stab at multiplayer.
Yeah, it will be interesting. But like I said, if it never comes out, it won't necessarily hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there was one more thing that they talked about in here, but I don't think so. So
There you go.
anyway.
2077, November 19th.
Yeah. Oh, and when that upgrade patch comes out for the Xbox One X, it will be free for anybody who has already purchased the game. So
makes
it's
sense.
same. You buy the game once, it's yours forever,
Good.
right? But don't necessarily expect full advantage of the new consoles day one. Right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
this next story is actually really cool. So SteelSeries, if you know the company, they make headphones, keyboards, all that stuff. They're doing a giveaway right now of a new game coming out called Road Company.
Oh, yeah.
I actually didn't know about this until earlier today. I was browsing through our Discord. I don't know exactly who found it first, but thank you to our Discord for talking about it because it's really cool. Anyway.
It's a high-res studio game.
Yeah, high-res studio game.
Third person.
Rogue Company. It's a third-person team shooter.
I would say, and people might get mad at me, but it feels it's third-person Valorant.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Similar.
what I saw a few people talking about in Discord today. But anyway, the talk in Discord made me go look at this Steel. Anyway, basically what you need to do is if you go to SteelSeries.com. You do have to create an account. It's not that hard. Email, password, you're done. And basically, you just sign up for the beta or alpha is what it's in. You can choose if you want it on PlayStation 4, PC, or Xbox. I believe you can actually take all three if you want. But anyway, so I obviously went in. I picked it for the Xbox. I decided to download it. It's downloaded on my box.
Baby.
It looks really fun. It looks really cool. Now that it is in alpha and it is under what are they called? NDA.
NDA, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't stream it or talk about it, or I mean, you can't really
That
advertise
girl-
it,
that
right?
The
lady-
first rule
That
of
lady
Rogue
is
Company
Is
is you
don't
don't talk
talk
about
about
Rogue
Rogue.
Company.
So anyway, this is just for everybody. I think this is going on until claim your closed alpha key until June 26th. So jump on the. I mean, you still got a little while left, but jump on it quick. If you don't know where to find a link or you can't find it, it's in our Discord. You can also go to SteelSeries Twitter. They retweeted it. Same with Rogue Company. But anyway, I think it's going to be. I'm excited to try it out. So it's going to be
They've
fun.
got a good pedigree
So-
here. This is a game. I mean, a studio that just does these things correctly. And from what I've
I do
been
like
seeing
high-res.
people in the community that have played it, they're really, really liking it.
Yeah, so this is really cool. So be sure to give that a try. SteelSeries.com. Just sign up, and then you'll be able to choose.
Last
what
but not
thing you-
least, we've got free play
Yay,
days.
more free play days. We got Pez.
Boom.
Pro Evolution Soccer.
Not the candy, the sucker.
Yeah, Pro Evolution Soccer 2020, MotoGP 20, and Don't Starve Together, which, by the way, I have never played, but here is a really fun game.
I've bought Don't Starve Together so many times.
on multiple.
Multiple bought it
stuff.
so many times.
So these are going on. They're available now until Sunday, June 21st. It's the free play days, and those are the games for it.
There you go. That brings us to the last segment of our show. This is the portion of the show where we take your questions. To submit a question, you can do so each and every single week over on Patreon, patreon.com/positive gaming or XoneBros.com/support. First question comes from the one and only Brandon Ryan. Brandon Ryan writes in and says, X1Bros, though the Series X is dropping later this year, we know it won't be the last console from Microsoft. How soon would be too soon to see a beefier, spec'd up flagship console? 1 year, 2 years? You guys rock. Thoughts? We know that it's iterations like phones. What do we think the next?
Well, if we look
Updated.
historically,
historically speaking,
it's every 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Except we had a rare occurrence with the Scorpio. That one came out 2 years
Yeah.
in between the S.
Yeah.
So because you had the Xbox One, 3 years you had the Xbox S.
Well, you had like an Elite, remember? Elite, then the S.
But the Elite was there was
just
no difference. It
there
was
was
just a bigger hard drive.
bigger hard drive. Yeah.
And it
Yes
came with
was,
a-
smaller and 10%
It came
more
with
powerful.
The
Elite controller.
Yeah.
But it's generally every 3 years, I think, unless they want to just spray a little, a pinch of something
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be every 3 years.
About the same. Yeah. I think if they go down, I think you could see 2 years like this nominal upgrade on something, especially since now nothing is, there are no generations, right? So
I think 3 years gives them enough time to make money, and then it gets hyped back up for the next one, and it gives them enough time to make money for
Yeah.
that
And
one.
then,
I think 3
you know,
years is a sweet spot,
that
and I
is a
think
nice-
Xbox has figured that
it's a
out.
nice round number
Nope,
too.
I think you're right, and then it gives it enough time for technology to advance and get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? So I
So
think
that's
3 years is a good number.
that's my theory.
I think you're right. I agree with you.
I think you're right
Wow.
Wow, you're
Somebody soundbite
you're
that.
good. You're good. Brendan Ryan, thank you very much for writing in. Great question. Josh Grotberg writes in and says, "Hey, bros, mine is a two-parter, but combined into one. Now that Cyberpunk is delayed until November, do you think you guys will just wait and get the Xbox Series X version, considering it would be so close to launch anyway? Speaking of the Series X, do you think in July they need to announce a digital edition like Sony did? I'm all digital now and would prefer a cheaper one and go all digital. Keep up the great work." So let's take the Cyberpunk question. We kind of already answered it in talking about it.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
when you
matter.
buy it,
Yeah,
right?
it
If
really
you
doesn't
buy
matter.
it, it comes with you. Of course, you won't have that. I'm pretty positive there won't be a patch on day one that makes it take advantage of the full system. That'll come a little bit later, but it'll be with you regardless if you buy it on Series X or One X.
Having
right?
said that, if it did matter, I would, it being so close to the Series X, I would wait till the Series X.
I'm day one. I can't wait any longer than I have to. You
You
know what I mean?
impatient bastard.
Yeah, I can't wait to create my character.
Yeah.
I want to take this second question on the digital edition, but I want to bring in Dark Knight's question here because his is similar. He says, "How's it going, bros? Been listening to a lot of chatter about Project Lockhart. and could see Xbox using this as its new xCloud digital box, all streaming for $20 a month, streaming service as a streaming service kit. Is that Project Lockhart? Josh Grotberg says, are they having a digital edition? I think I'll go first. I think absolutely both Dark Knights. I think Dark Knight's theory of an all digital box really focused on the Game Pass Ultimate is exactly what we're going to see, which is an all digital.
No, I
box.
agree. I mean, the rumors of Project Lockhart have been out there for a year now, right?
Yeah.
Forever, right?
Yeah.
And if you remember, so Sony did their digital version and their disc version, right? But also Xbox, was it last year? Early last year, they did the 1S digital version, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, they've done it before at a cheaper price point. They never did it with the 1X, which I don't know why, or was kind of interesting. But I mean, they did it with the 1S. I don't see any reason for them not to do it with the new consoles going forward, right?
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
it's not bad because like you said, like for example, if I had the choice between the disc version and a digital version, I'd probably at this point in my life lean towards the digital version because the amount of times I actually take the Blu-ray out of the case, or all my videos are digital. They're all still in 4K, you know what I mean? All that stuff, because you can just buy them digitally now via, Vudu or wherever you're watching, right?
Yeah.
So you can still get that, because before, just a few short years ago, I feel the reason to get like a Blu-ray and stuff was because you wanted that high resolution, right?
Yeah.
And that was the place of storage for it, right? But now, I mean, there's so many platforms out there. Vudu is the one that comes to mind because I use that one actually a bit, where you can buy and have these
In super good quality.
yeah, in 4K. I actually, funny enough, I actually use Xbox's video marketplace a lot. I think I bought the entire Harry Potter series just a few weeks ago because why not? You know what I mean? It's all there.
Why not?
Digital. If you can get the digital content at that high resolution, I mean, is there a point for disc anymore? Right?
Collectors. But only because
I'm
only collecting them because I believe discs are going away.
and exercise.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's the point of like the cartridge, right? Was there
Yeah.
a point for the cartridge anymore, right?
Yeah.
Collectors, right? You know
Collectors.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I think maybe there's this iteration and maybe one more iteration with a disk drive, and then after that it's all digital. I think we're getting close to that point where it's going to be all digital.
Yeah, I
boxes
agree.
From
I agree with you. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, guys.
Psychotic writes in. Oh, great question, Dark Knight and Josh Grotberg. Thank you very much for writing in. The Psychotic writes in and says, "Hey, bros, I recently got back into Fallout 76 and I faced a common problem with RPG-like games. Do I try to hop in for my current character or start a new one after being gone for a while? Keep up the great work and thanks for the normalcy you guys bring." Thank you very much, Psychotic.
He brings up the cycle of gaming life.
Cycle of gaming life. I usually start all the way over because because I don't want to learn and think like, oh, what happened? Why did I do this?
When he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Like Diablo. I didn't understand how Diablo worked, though.
That was so funny.
In
I started over.
my
But
defense.
Why did you start
I-
over?
and
I
did it
wanted
4
to learn the
times.
story. You could just replay the story. That's
just
the point
replay
of the
it,
game.
and then you're stronger.
See, I needed to rebuild that relationship with my character, between me and my character.
But you can. There's no difference. It's the exact same thing you'd be doing.
Since we're talking about Diablo, can I tell one of my favorite Diablo stories?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was this one time where we were playing one of the seasons pretty hardcore,
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this before.
and Mark spent like a week leveling.
No, it was more than a week. It was 3 weeks.
And
Just
he
grinding
had
that
grinded.
I believe it was
Power
non-prophetic.
power grinded because you have the Paragon levels, right, which are your seasonal level kind of thing. Grinded, and then
ground.
Yeah, and then me and David, who had to came back from the beach or whatever, just hopped on,
was
and we were
just
low levels,
relaxing.
and we played with non-prophetic, and he was such a high level.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You already were right where I was.
He was such a high level. He cranked it up to the highest difficulty. He was like, I got you guys.
And
He's like,
he
hey,
just
hold my
walked-
beer.
Just
walked
stand-
forward.
just stand
and
behind
his
me, guys.
Swarm of death killed the entire server. And
My-
then you were right where I was.
My game started lagging because the level up animation kept going off. So it was one of the best Diablo experiences I ever had.
That was rough on me. It's like I wasted 3 weeks of my life.
Non-prophetic was our loot cave.
He was
was our
our
Destiny Luke
For
Diablo
5
Luke.
minutes.
A Trisket writes in and says, "Yo, dudes, I'm normally a AAA game."
Did we ever finish the question?
It's a hard question.
Sorry,
it really
RPG. Yeah,
depends.
sorry.
I jumped back into Fallout 76, and I did start a new character.
I start over all
because-
the time.
Yeah, so
I do too. I mean, I don't know how many times you can
started a new
restart
character.
Witcher.
the only game I have not started over actually is The Witcher. I grind it out, and I go, you know what? I'm going to relearn the controls, and I grind it out, and I relearn the controls for about an hour.
You know what
2
bothers
hours.
me is I'll have stuff in my inventory and I'll have like, what bothers me is I don't remember what I was trying to do, and that's what I can't get over.
How many times have we all done the Baron quest?
You know what's funny is logging into an RPG after a couple months is kind of like the Trevor waking up situation, waking up in the middle of the rocks, where you're kind of like,
It's true.
where am I?
What they should do, what I would like to see them do, is do a recap for you. Like if you've not logged in a month, the game like previously.
Yeah,
On-
a 24 recap.
Yeah, previously on this.
But
and
then
it
nothing.
shows,
Yeah.
it shows your decisions.
They can have your quest journal, right? I guess you can.
Yeah,
read
I guess
through
you can
that,
read your
yeah.
quest journal, but I would like it.
Who wants
to
to
be-
read?
Well,
I
I
would
mean,
like
there
it to
are
be automated.
There are games where I feel like it should start over, like PUBG. Do you know all the buttons on that thing are
Oh, yeah.
so bizarre?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I kill this guy?
Slichter's got a good response in chat. He says, I replay the first few missions to relearn how to play, and then I go back to my main save. That's actually not a bad way to do
I actually
it.
don't know why we haven't done that before. That'd save us.
That's genius.
I actually do that with Witcher.
Oh, do
Every
you?
time I pull it up, I play the Baron stuff, and then I fall back on my character that is just as far, but has a lot of different.
Well, because there's
That's my
like,
Gwent deck.
in these very large RPG games, there are like if you go away for a while, you forget some of the character intertwined into other stories that you see that would be a big deal, but aren't a big deal because you don't remember that interaction.
But
you
the
know what I mean?
problem is these games are like
so big.
300-hour games.
Yeah, they're so big.
And so it's just going to happen again. Like I
have-
said, it's the cycle of games.
I have just decided that The Witcher 3
It's the greatest game ever made.
is my retirement plan. Like when I retire, I will play The Witcher 3.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's a great
By
game.
then we'll be on like Witcher 12.
Will we?
No, they're done with The Witcher. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe
Yeah, we'll see.
they're Cyberpunk's next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Maybe
Great.
I hope there's a Witcher Easter egg in Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
Apparently there is.
They had a
Series side mission.
They had a Cyberpunk Easter egg in Witcher.
Yeah, that was a cool. scene.
Psychotic, great question. Thank you very much for writing in. A Trisket writes in and says, "Yo, dudes, I'm normally a AAA gamer, playing Halo, Call of Duty, Gears, and so on. However, recently I've been playing a lot of the smaller titles for $20 to $30, as well as enjoying them, such as Minecraft, Minecraft Dungeons, Rocket League, and now Deep Rock Galactic. That's a good game.
Yeah.
I guess my enjoyment does help when I've been playing these games with friends." He says, "I'm hooked and loving Deep Rock Galactic. Are there other small, cheaper titles that you will sink your teeth into
That's a good
more
question.
than a $60 game? More than a AAA game?" Spicy's got one.
For sure. I mean,
Stardew
like-
Valley.
yeah, Stardew Valley. I mean, I was going to say Hotline Miami too.
Oh.
I generally like a lot of indie games. I think that's where a lot of the art and gaming is going.
Yeah.
I would say music wise, I feel like indie games push they have more they're allowed to take more risks, I guess
Sure.
you would
No,
say,
absolutely,
than AAA games. But yeah, there's a lot of good games out there. A lot of good ones. Stardew Valley was that's a great time sinker. That's one of the games I've bought like 6 times. I swear, like every time it comes out somewhere else, I get it. So.
A Trisket, if you don't have Game Pass, I would recommend Game Pass. That's a great way to check
Discover
out
games, too, yeah.
lots of these smaller titles that are out there on Game Pass. Jordan, is there a game that you've played that's a cheaper game, maybe a smaller game that you've put more time into?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the two that recently. There's Vigor and Warface.
There you
that-
go.
I mean,
Vigor.
Vigor's free, with the
Vigor
exception
is
of
free.
a Battle Pass, right? And then Warface is only $20, and I've sunk a
Warface
lot.
Breakout.
Warface
The
Breakout.
Breakout.
Yeah,
Don't go
Breakout.
buying Warface
Yeah.
and
No,
get
it's
mad
a
at it.
completely
Yeah.
different
Warface
game.
is
Warface
actually
is free.
free.
Yeah.
Warface Breakout is $20,
Yeah.
and I've been playing a lot of that, and I can see myself playing a lot more of that because of the style of game that it is, right?
Yeah, no, those are great.
Ori's chat's talking about Ori. Yeah, platformers, and I love platformers, and you'll get a lot of those in the indie scene for sure.
Yeah, Graveyard Keeper. What was
Graveyard Keeper
Graveyard
was
Keeper's
hilarious.
fantastic. The best is at a certain the first portion of the game, you literally can just chuck bad bodies into the river. No
Yeah,
one
just let
cares.
'em, yeah.
And then you find out where that river goes later. But yeah,
one that I put a lot of time into? Was Wargroove. Wargroove is a cheaper, smaller game.
Yeah.
Wargroove's
Wargroove's
great.
really fun, yeah.
That is an awesome game.
So-
that was my game of the year.
Yeah,
if
that
you
was.
remember.
That was.
That's a good game.
That was. Another one that I think is really good, kind of the prime example that kind of has evolved into a more polished, higher end game just because of the success that it had over at Ubisoft. Trials, I think, is a really prime example of a game
That's not full price.
Not full price.
Yeah.
That is very, very good. So.
And you've spent a lot of hours just trying to get that one jump.
Oh man!
Like trying.
When you start to get into those hard
And you're just
difficulty
like-
levels, you go crazy, man.
Hey Trisket, thank you very much for that question. Let me ask you this, Spicy. Let's start with you. Is there a game that really just blew you away from a? And I don't want to say. I'll use the word artistic, but I don't mean artistic in a way that it's like, look how colorful and beautiful this is necessarily. That could be it. But is there a game that blew you away from an artistic standpoint where, again, not necessarily crazy artistic stuff like a Hotline Miami kind of has a very unique artistic palette. But, for instance, like Red Dead Redemption does some things artistically speaking with music, and that is really good. But is there a game that just blew you away on an artistic level where you dove in deeper than you didn't think of the game as just the game, you thought of it as a work of art?
Yeah, you brought up Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
That is graphically not a pretty game, but that
And
one.
yet it
you
is,
yeah,
know?
it is. Yeah, it has its own charm and flair. Very gory charm and flair. But the music in that. I mean, for those that hang out live on the show, I'm generally playing a lot of that music from that game.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the listeners know that I enjoy music, right? So that when that came out, I think it was 2011. That introduced me to like the synth 80s wave kind of style, just that techno. It actually kind of didn't exist really at the time. And now it's you hear it everywhere in gaming, especially, right? And there's a lot of actually. Don't mean to go on a little bit of tangent. Still kind of related. Carpenter Brute is an artist that I fell in love with that did a lot of music for Hotline Miami, and now I saw a trailer for a new sci-fi film. I can't remember what it is, but they advertised one of the big advertisements for this 80s sci-fi trailer was Carpenter Brute is one of the he's the composer
That's
of
cool.
this movie that's out now. And the fact that like he got famous because really of that game. He was a little bit famous before, but in a very niche market,
Yeah.
right? But that game, Hotline Miami, is a game that I experienced. I didn't play, right? And because I was introduced to a new level of music that I hadn't heard, but just fell in love with.
Sure.
That style, that heavy hitting synthwave 80s retro John Carpenter style music.
Yeah.
That game was fantastic. There's other games that I think has cute charm like Stardew Valley. It has a nostalgic kind of
No, it does.
it just takes you to
Stardew Valley has this ability to instantly suck you in.
Yeah. And it's just such a game that has so much charm, and you just enjoy. It's a happy game.
Yeah.
Whereas Hotline Miami is not a happy game, right?
I feel happy when I make it past
when
a
I
level.
win.
But as far as art, people are saying in chat Cuphead. I would totally agree with that. That was an interesting game as far as how the artwork was actually created and made, and to have the old school animation. That whole game was animated, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, in the 90s, I think games were animated in that kind of way. Like Donkey Kong, I believe all the sprites were animated that way, and Mortal Kombat was the same. You had models stand there, take pictures, and then kick and take pictures in different forms, and that's how Mortal Kombat was, and then they animated those together. So Cuphead is a great example of taking an ancient way to create animations and then move it into the gaming space with their sprites and how they did that. I find that really interesting, but really you see a lot of the the music and artwork and things like that really shine in the indie scene only because I feel like the developers don't have limits and they are more free to make to not be told that you can't do this or this is going to make more money if you do it this way, etc. They're able to just express themselves in the games how they feel. Whereas I feel like the AAA games are very polished, very smooth, but you have a lot of hands in the pot that limit a lot of the creativity, I think, a little bit more, you know. So I think the indie scene is where people can express themselves a lot, basically, is what I'm saying. So a lot of indie games have that feel and vibe. So,
well, and also I think that to stand out, you have to be unique in a and so you have to have that in the indie world, right?
Yeah.
So because you can't rely on let's go get the best composers. Let's go get the best storytellers. Let's tell an amazing story. You've got to have something that's visually interesting and acoustically interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get that in AAA titles too.
Well,
I mean,
you do get that in AAA titles.
You do for sure. Like the Star Wars game that just recently came out. We got introduced to Mongolian throat rock.
No,
it's so good.
You know what I mean?
One of my
like,
favorite bands.
Yeah, and to have that come out and whoever was the musical director in that Jedi Order,
it was genius.
It to have that song on the intro really got me.
Yeah, or
got me.
A AAA game that is just the masterpiece is Zelda Breath of the Wild. Just did such a good job of taking risk too with gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, and taking music out of the game
Yeah.
and having it be silent.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important for setting moods and tones and all that. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, games, we've talked about this many times on the show in the past, but gaming is, and the game creation is the new way to express yourself in so many more paradigms and more outlets than just a painting, than just music, than just artwork. It's all of that added together to tell a story,
to create an experience.
To create an experience. Gaming is where that's at.
Movies tell a story. Gaming creates experience.
You experience that story, right? So, anyways, it's gaming is very, very cool. So
yeah, no, absolutely, Jordan. While we're heading out here, that does us for the week. But I want to know what you're going to be playing. What's your game plan going forward for the week?
Well, season 1 of Warface is out.
Yeah,
so I will
play
be
that. Guys, we're gonna put
ranking
together
up.
a team for that. Are we?
Yeah, last time we put together a team,
we did really well.
What did we go, like 6-1, 6-2, or something like
good.
that? It was insane.
Ranked mode's a whole other animal.
Yeah, don't shoot each other.
Yeah, or grenades. Grenades is going to be the threat.
Yeah,
flashing. We're gonna flash each other. Or
Yeah.
we could always flash each other.
Yeah,
really.
but grenades.
No, but like in the game. In the game.
Yeah, the AOE on grenades is so huge in that game.
Yeah,
so huge.
No, I'm gonna be doing probably Warface, and I'll probably be streaming Warface next week as well. Just so everybody knows, I'll be streaming Tuesday and Wednesday next week because of scheduling conflicts.
Oh,
but
nice.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I haven't streamed in a while.
Yeah, they were asking about
COVID-19 just messed everything up.
Yeah.
I will get back to it though. I promise.
Yeah, so I'll probably be playing Warface Tuesday and Wednesday, just because whenever a game releases a season or like Tarkov wipes, you feel like if you're not playing, you're falling behind.
Yeah.
So you got to play. So I'll be playing a lot of Warface. I think I do want to play bigger.
I want to play
bigger.
I want to be bigger when I play Vigor.
Yeah, I do want to play Vigor.
I think that was an email I got that was in my spam.
I'm grinding that battle pass. I'm getting level 50.
Yeah,
I want to get 35 is where you unlock mortars.
I do want to play Vigor, and I will, but I really want to focus on Warface because I want to get good. You know what I
Anything
mean?
special for Father's Day this weekend, guys? What are you getting for Father's Day? What do you want? I already told my wife. Chips, salsa, chocolate chip fars ice cream.
And
yeah.
Chips and salsa.
All at the same time.
Salsa. Chips, salsa.
That should be a shirt.
Chips, salsa.
And Vigor.
And Vigor.
Vigor.
No, and ice cream. I'm going to ice cream with...
Oh, that's what you kids are calling it
brownies.
nowadays, huh?
No, it's hard
She's the
because
brownie.
it's hard.
I'm the ice cream.
Yeah.
Call it a volcano. A hot molten volcano.
It's really hard because there's so many games out there. You know what I mean?
It is true.
So, to be honest with you, I will probably be playing Escape from Tarkov because the wipe has been good to me so far.
The wipe.
It started out rough.
The wipe has been good.
Yeah.
And that's usually not the case. Usually we go bidet style.
Yeah. No, it started out rough at the beginning of the wipe, but then things are looking up. Things are looking up. But no, I really want to get good at Warzone. I want to or not Warzone, sorry. Warface. Because I feel like map knowledge is 50% of your wins.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? And the other
I'd say
80%.
80%.
80%, and then the other 30% is
skill.
technical, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That brings you to 110%.
because
And that's how hard you should be playing this game.
All the way. All the way.
No, I want to get good at that game. I love that style of game. It's like, for example, if you run into a CS:GO player who's just good, you respect that guy because you're like,
do.
hey man, you're good.
You do.
You're good at games.
It's true.
So anyway, I'll be playing that. I will probably jump into a little bit of Vigor, probably with you, David. I like doing the duos.
The vigorness, yeah. Duos is actually the best way to level up.
Yeah, let's do it then. And then also, got to get that Yakuza in.
Ooh, Yakuza. The Yakuza.
Sometimes I stress out because I'm like, I gotta go, but there's no phone booth around. You know, like I gotta save it. You know, like, and then you're like late to your family dinner, and you're like, why are you late? Oh,
Want to talk about inspiring artwork? Yakuza. That game.
That is art.
That does us for this week, everybody. Thank you for stopping by and tuning in. If you haven't yet, head over to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe to us there. And we will see you next time.
I'm going to hit the button. I did hit the button.
You did it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I usually let you talk for a little bit, and then I go into this.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we've been doing this for, like, almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
long time.
I don't have that much to say anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it has to do with
Chips.
salsa. Chips and salsa.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for
Oh,
stopping
and
by.
happy Father's Day.
Happy
to all
Father's
the
Day to
fathers
everybody.
out there.
That's
Yeah,
right. We'll see you
this
next time.
weekend.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, everybody.